everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric and our continuing series Retro Revamp Rewind, where I take a look at some of the earliest videos I ever made on the channel because I think they're important games that I want to keep talking about. And today we're taking a look at Cubivore or Animal Leader, and the reason I want to revisit this is two distinct reasons. One, it's an amazing game that I think more people should experience, and two, the Nintendo 64 canceled version just came out as a file that you can play at home, because this game was originally intended for the 64DD, and when that was canceled, it moved to the Nintendo 64 and then pivoted to the Gamecube. So it's an awesome experience from a preservation standpoint to be able to look at the Nintendo 64 version on the left and the Gamecube version on the right. Before we get too far involved, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like, subscribe, and that notification bell definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down there as well. But I can't say enough good things about Cubivore. This game feels so special and so unique and so unlike anything else you have ever played before that it's something that I think everyone should experience at least once. Because it's a very simple game, but yet the simplicity of it is where the beauty in the game actually lies. And starting off here with the Nintendo 64 version, you're just born into the world as this small pig-looking box. And at the core of this game, it is a very simple mechanic. It is an evolution sim. All you need to do is traverse the world and upgrade your character, giving him new evolutions and new abilities. So to get into the game is quite simple, but it's just so complex as to how many different permutations you can have of your box character, and the visuals, the music, everything that makes this game up just feels so special as to be something that I think everyone should at least play once. But mechanically it is quite easy to understand what's going on. All you need to do is eat other animals, eat other power-ups, and start tearing box flaps off different species of animals so you can evolve your character and take on some of their traits or abilities. And there's definitely going to be situations where you need a new ability to continue in the game, and you can definitely get yourself a little bit stuck by adding too many or the wrong abilities to your box character, making him harder to control. So there's a lot of depth into how you actually want to progress. But at the beginning of the game, it's walking you through in the most simple way possible. And you'll see here I am playing the Japanese version because one, the North American version Cubivore for the GameCube is obscenely expensive. I would certainly purchase it if I wanted to collect a copy, but I own this on the GameCube as a Japanese import. The second reason I suggest playing the Japanese version is there's actually something charming about not knowing what's going on, not understanding the story, because this game will telegraph everything you need to do mechanically, and you can play it from start to finish in Japanese and understand everything that's going on kind of through the mimicry of the animals. They're miming out everything that's happening in front of you. You'll see here we've torn that flap off and now we have a new traversal method. But not knowing the story, not knowing exactly what's going on, actually allows you as the player to kind of impart what you think is happening. You're able to create your own character's personality, what their goals are, and I kind of like being able to read between the lines because, as I've said on the channel before, sometimes our imaginations fill in the blanks better than the actual story would, because we're going to imagine the things that we really like and we're going to give our anthropomorphized box character life, the same way that we look at our pets and we assign them personalities that they may not actually have. So I really suggest, if you do want to play this game, and I really hope you do, that you play it in Japanese. When I can't say enough good things about the game, the number one thing I love so much is the soundtrack. It's spectacular. Listen for a second and I'll be right back. I just cannot say enough good about the soundtrack. It is absolutely beautiful, and it's one of my favorite soundtracks in gaming. If they released this on a vinyl album, I would be the first in line to reserve a copy of it. And I'm not sure how much you've been following along with my channel. Maybe this is the first video you've seen, maybe you've seen them all, but I did a small series on the Apple Pippin, and we played a game called Jungle Park, and that is from the same developer of Cubivore, and that game is basically an adventure game where you're trying to do some point-and-click solving of puzzles with a monkey, and you can definitely see where Cubivore evolved from that game. It's a direct lineage, so much so that in the menus, that monkey from Jungle Park appears as a little character. But the developers of this game, Bruni, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, just made absolutely beautiful games that made no logical sense. I mean, I'm not sure how you sit in a room and come up with the idea of an evolution sim where you're dealing with cardboard boxes, but that is kind of the creative process. Maybe someone just had a box, drew some eyes on it, and the game's concept kind of just launched out from there. And that's the amazing thing about creativity, especially with gaming or what I do, filmmaking, is sometimes the jumping off point for an idea can be the most basic thing ever. You look at an object, an idea comes to your mind, and you decide there might actually be something there. And that's why I just love Cubivore and can't recommend it enough, because if you're even slightly into, sim games, evolution games, even kind of 3D platformers, there's a ton here for you to enjoy, because I can guarantee you've never really played a game like this before, and it's just something that you should experience at least once. Now, this is a game that I actually play like yearly, just to kind of go back through it, to hear the soundtrack, and to play differently, because there's so many different ways to evolve in this game. No two playthroughs are exactly alike, but mechanically it's really easy. Just charge up your attack this panda right here, and you can see we have our health in the corner. We have 9 out of 9 hit points left, and as you evolve and take on more skill sets, that health is going to go up, because you can see here now we already have 11 hit points. But when we kill this gigantic, I think it's a panda, a metallic panda in fact, that's basically the boss for the level. We defeat him and we move on to the next area. And the game isn't the longest in the world. You can definitely finish it in a day, or you can take your time and play a few levels and go on. But you'll see here we got another evolution and another amazing soundtrack, so listen again. I want to say that the soundtrack is my favorite part of Cubivore, but honestly, each individual component of this game is my favorite part. The soundtrack, the gameplay, the simplistic, colorful graphics. The sum of the parts is greater than the parts added up separately. It's just one of those games that feels so unique that you have to experience it. And I will say that there are some points in the game where you do get a small mating mechanic. Of course, it's off screen and it's cardboard boxes, so really nothing to look away from. But I just like this. It's just a pink background with a pink frog, and this kind of hobby horse looking dog comes in, and you can choose whether or not you want to mate with him to take a different evolution on. If you like your character the way he is, you can just say no. If you say yes, you're going to have a completely different experience, and the game's going to give you these forking decision branches a lot of different times, and you really need to decide what you want to do and how you want to do it. But I just love this color pink on the background. It's totally simple. It's not hard to make. I'm not a game developer, but I know doing something like that is simple, but it works perfectly. And now you'll see we're a baby cube who's going to grow up quite quickly, but we have been reborn and we are the next evolution of our own character. And we now have 2 different box flaps on the bottom, so we're able to traverse the world a lot quicker. And it actually, for some strange reason, makes me sad to see our old cube character there, because that's who we started with, and we've now not abandoned him, but upon the birth of a new evolution, your old character does die. It's the circle of life, and I mean, that makes perfect sense, but at the same time, seeing that cube on the ground there, you do somehow grow attached to your own characters and want to continue to play as them. Sometimes I ignore the evolutionary branching paths because I like the character I have. I've given him a personality, and I want to keep kind of playing with him as I go along. But since I really haven't listened to the sound effects, go ahead and have about 30 seconds, and I'll come back and tell you why, if you've never played Cubivore, you should do it right after this video ends. Be right back. I mean, how often do you get violins in a video game where you play as a cardboard box, eating other cardboard boxes to evolve new flaps onto yourself to give you new abilities? It's a sentence I never thought I would say, but when I'm playing this game, it makes absolutely perfect sense. And what I really just think about Cubivore is this is a special game. It's a game that really shouldn't exist and probably wouldn't exist today. This is something experimental that you got back in the Nintendo 64 or GameCube or Dreamcast era, when developers were just doing things because they could do them versus thinking about what would sell the most copies. And don't get me wrong, I do love modern gaming, but a lot of things are just copy and paste so they can sell the most copies. But a game like Cubivore is a special experience, so definitely 100% play it. Short of that, if you have any questions or comments, I'll leave them down below. Love chatting with you guys, and I will be back with another episode of Retro Revamp Rewind soon. I'll have videos throughout the week, but otherwise hit that like and subscribe button, helps us out, and go play Cubivore. Bye bye.